Yeah, so we're gonna roll up, and the main road that takes us out there is a couple miles up. So we're just gonna go take a look, see what the gate says, if there's like a warning or a name printed on the gate. Hey, what's up YouTube? Zebra Actual here, and today I've got a video that I'm really excited to share with you guys. Now, out of all of the places that I've explored in this area, this one is by far the strangest and most mysterious. Now, I know it's been a long time since I've posted any sort of new content, so I just want to give a huge thank you to all the people that have subscribed to my channel, and those of you that have stuck around, who continue watching my videos and commenting. I really appreciate the support, and I look forward to having some more fresh content to share with you guys soon. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. What we're looking at here is a complex of buildings that is out in the mountains just a little bit east of Reno, Nevada. Now, my coworker Matt and I first discovered these buildings when we were checking out Google Earth one day. Now, this is an area with a lot of industrial and mining activity going on, so initially we really didn't think too much of it, but as we examined a little closer, we started to notice that the overall site appeared to be in a state of abandonment. Now, as you can see from these satellite images, a lot of the parking lots are starting to get overgrown with sagebrush, the pavement on the roads is badly cracked, and there's just no signs really at all of people or any recent activity, with the exception of this one single car that was parked out in front of a warehouse. Now, our initial hunch was that this facility might be some sort of research or a testing center, possibly military, possibly some sort of a private venture. So we took to the internet, we did a couple weeks of pretty intense Google searches, looked at all of the properties and the companies that were out there. We couldn't find any clues whatsoever regarding this facility, who owned it, or what it was used for. And our curiosity was stoked even further when we discovered this. Up at the northern end of the complex, you will see what is very clearly a bunker or a tunnel entrance. Now, with no information to follow on the internet, we decided that it was time to go and investigate this place in person. Unfortunately, getting to the site was not going to be easy. Here we can see where the access road links up to the main road. There's a very heavy gate blocking the way. Now, we hope that paying this gate a visit might yield some clues. Maybe there would be a sign indicating the company or the organization that owned this facility. What's up? Alright guys, so we made it to the front gate out here in Lockwood. As you can see, it's very sturdily gated. We got a clear no trespassing sign, so we're not going to be able to get through this way. Luckily, I do know some back roads. We're going to go all the way around and try to hit this place from the south. Just see if we can see what's going on. Now, obviously, this is a secure site. They don't want us in there, so it's not my intent to, trespass or go anywhere that we're not supposed to. But I definitely want to get to a spot where maybe we can get eyes on these buildings and get a better idea of what this complex is, what it's used for, and why it's out there. It was definitely a heavy-duty gate, and it was clear that whatever the site was, visitors were not welcome there.
See, this road does get traveled.
Yeah.
This is some serious hardware, though.
Yeah, it is. Virginia Highlands LLC really didn't turn up any useful information on an internet search, and despite the waste management sign that was posted on the gate, we really didn't believe that this facility had anything to do with that. Rather, a small portion of that access road cuts through the nearby Lockwood landfill, and we figured it was more than likely the reason that the waste management sign was up there. So this kind of puts us back at square one. What we needed was a way to actually see the facility in person. So we went and checked out the front gate to this facility, and just like the satellite photo showed, it's very clearly gated, very clearly labeled. We're not going to be getting through that road. So Unfortunately, we didn't really see an organization or company name that would indicate who owns the facility. Obviously, there's a waste management sign, being that there's a landfill that this road cuts through. I'm assuming that was probably due to the fact that this road cuts through their property. So, I mean, maybe it has something to do with the landfill. We'll see. But, you know, as the photo showed, this facility is pretty far out from the landfill. It's not really in proximity to it, so I don't think that the two are related. So the mystery continues. But we're going to go ahead and cut around through an area called Lago Marcino, and there's some back roads that should take us up to the south end of where this facility is, and hopefully we can at least get some eyes on and maybe show you what's out there. So we're going to go ahead and turn the cameras off and hit the road. We got some freeways to traverse, and we'll give you an update when we get closer. Our search led us to the Virginia City Highlands, which is about 45 minutes to the south. From here, there's a series of dirt roads that cut through the hills and canyons and head up toward Lockwood, where this facility is at. Using my GPS, I was able to plot a course that would hopefully take us up to the southernmost tip of where this facility was at. Alright guys, so we had to bring the GoPro back in, kept falling off, we already ran over it once, so we'll see how that video turns out. But anyways, hopefully I gave you guys a little picture of what we're dealing with road-wise. Just really bumpy, really muddy, but nothing the Jeep can't handle, so as long as it doesn't get much worse than this, we should continue to be just fine. Our drive started off pretty tame, not too bad, roads were pretty easy, but that changed very quickly. We ran into some really treacherous roads, deep ruts, hairpin turns, and a lot of huge rocks getting in the way. And even with a good off-road vehicle, it was really slow going. Alright guys, so potentially some bad news. We just ran into a couple that was in a Jeep coming up the other way, and they indicated to us that the road up here, they barely got through it. I guess it's really muddy, really slippery, really steep. So they advised us not to go through it, said you know, we might have some issues getting back out if we decide to go in. So I don't know that we're going to get all the way to where we need to go today, but we're going to roll up here a little bit further, take a look at it, see how bad it is, and make a decision there. How's it look up there?
I went down another quarter mile.
Uh-huh.
And it looks like I can't see any further without going around the corner, but there's another turnaround down there.
At one point in our descent down the hill, Matt got out to scout ahead on foot and make sure that the road was passable, since there wouldn't be any place to turn around once we committed to taking this road. And it was here that we got our first view of the facility. From our vantage up on the hillside, we were able to get some really good footage of the place with a zoom on my camera. Now, for the most part, it looked just like we had expected based on the Google Earth satellite images that we'd seen. But then we saw something that really caught our eye. Here you can see there's three very large, it appears to be multi-story concrete structures, and they look pretty heavily fortified, and we just weren't sure what to make of these. Now that we had the facility in sight, we knew there was no turning back. However bad the roads got, we knew we were going to make it out there one way or another. I mean, this is definitely not ideal. But my concern is that we have to go up this hill. Our last challenge came in the form of this very steep hill up here. Initially we had some concerns about whether the Jeep was going to make it up there or not. We got out, walked the hill, decided that it would probably be okay. Put it in four-wheel drive, we should be fine, do you think? And the Jeep proved, as usual, to be an absolute beast, got us up the hill with no problems.
Over RPM it. No, we don't want to go down there. Start hopping.
Now with that final obstacle behind us, we were home free. We just had a couple more miles down this really rocky two-track, which really wasn't even a road to speak of, and we would be at our destination. Let's pull off here and get out and look. And here it is. What we found when we got there was basically a small concrete test pad with a disconnected power pole, a transformer box, and a small shed next to it. But it was out here that we got our first real clue to what this facility was. Found out what it is. That sign that's laying down says Aerojet. I do want to point out we were very careful not to trespass onto any part of the facility. We did respect the signs, the fences, the barriers, and we didn't go any further than the signs that you see in the video here. On the drive home and later on that evening, we were able to do some research on Aerojet. Now, according to their Wikipedia page, quote, Aerojet Rocketdyne is an American rocket and missile propulsion manufacturer headquartered in El Segundo, California. The company is owned by Aerojet Rocketdyne Holdings. We got a chance to check out their webpage. I mean, these guys are legit. They're a real company. They're doing some pretty cutting-edge work for NASA and the Defense Department. But one thing that I did find interesting is that looking at their website, they have a list of all of their facilities and where they're located. And as you can see looking at this map, Reno is not on that list. Now, it's possible that this may be a former site for them. It may be abandoned now. Maybe that's why it doesn't show up on the map. Or, you know, maybe there's some sort of more classified or confidential work going out here that they don't want to necessarily be public. But I did think that was kind of interesting that this facility was not mentioned on their map. Nor could we find it in any subsequent Google or internet searches. Now, unfortunately, we weren't able to see any of the other buildings from here due to the terrain, but there was still one more place we wanted to check out. About half a mile to the south, I noticed there was a large circular clearing, which was pretty easily accessible by road. I was hoping we might be able to find some more clues out there.
I will. I want to find a good place to park. What?
So we made it out to our final point. Large tank. Unfortunately, we didn't really learn too much from this site, but our guess was that it was probably cleared out to eventually make place for another water tank. Amazingly, though, we had a great view of the facility from here, and using the zoom on my camera, I was able to get some really good footage. Now, if you'll note here, there are actually two vehicles parked outside of this particular building. And this building is quite a bit different from the rest of the parts of the facility. You know, unlike the rest of it, this building looks really new and really well maintained. So based on that, we think that this site probably isn't abandoned at all. You know, whether this is a maintenance crew or a watchman or whether there's actually testing still going on out here, it's clear that there's somebody that's still coming out here and doing something out at this site. We also discovered this, a tunnel entrance leading into the mountain with two very heavy steel doors on it. Now this led us to believe that at least some portion of the facility's infrastructure is underground. Now unfortunately, those three large concrete structures from before were not visible at all from this location, so we weren't able to get any more footage of them. Still, despite that, I feel like we got a pretty good peek at the facility as a whole, and definitely answered some of the questions that we had going into this expedition. But as I said before, it brings up a lot more questions and a lot more curiosity at the same time. You know, as far as what sort of testing they're doing out there, whether this site is still active or not, and whether there's a possibility that there might even be tunnels and underground infrastructure out here. So, at this point, your guess is really as good as mine. Please drop me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you believe is out there. And I guess that about wraps it up for the video. We may try to make another trip out here in the near future. But for now, I really hope you enjoyed watching. And again, let me know what you think.